Hey, I ain't mad at her. Y'all can be mad at me, think I'm crazy. All the thing to do is crazy. Look it, I'm gonna tell her if it's you or him, choose yourself. like what are we talking about here? Like, I don't understand.
Hey, welcome to Not a Fit Podcast. It's your boy Anthony, Conservative Chicano. What's going on, guys? I got the bishop, I got the token. You guys doing good? We doing good?
Yeah. You guys got almost like the same shirt on.
Oh, is that? I was wondering what you're looking at. Like,
I know
he got
too.
boogers on his face? Or what?
No, I'm looking at the shirt.
Well, we called each other this morning. Wanted to make sure we coordinated.
Sorry.
We just forgot to call you.
I was like, man, everybody in the room got black shirts on. That's the first
Well,
thing
you
I
have a
thought.
black shirt
I
on,
do.
too. She's got some pink.
That's why I was like, whoa, everybody got black shirts on. Then I started going, wait, you guys got like the same
I
shirt
did
on.
do it. Double take.
Sorry.
All right.
You wonder like, hey, what's in his head? Stuff like that.
I wonder what was. Yeah, I got to give some shout outs real quick. I got to give a shout out to my boy Robert out there in Visalia, Porterville area. I got to give a shout out to my boy Ruben. They came out to me. I was visiting their church yesterday. And they're like, man, we love the podcast. So I'm like, all right. And then I was talking to another person, and it was funny is they were telling. I walked up on it. They were telling another person about our podcast, and I just thought that was really cool. So I thought, man, that was cool. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody who shares the link, shares the love with what's going on with our podcast and stuff. So I mean, I enjoy it. So so I love it when people do that. By the way, they can find our podcast on all the platforms. Leave a comment in YouTube, or DM us something. But it's fun. I just appreciate everybody who watches it. I often wonder what they think, and let me tell you why. So I'm at Lowe's this morning, and I see my homie Anthony Sandoval. I hadn't seen him in a while, so we said, what's up? We were talking. He goes, dude, you got to come meet my coworker because we listen to the podcast every week, and let's see if he recognizes you. So he taps on the glass. We walk over to the truck, he taps on the glass, and the guy doesn't recognize me. And he goes, come on, bro. His name's Salvador. Don't you know who he is? Podcast. He goes, oh, that's right. That's Anthony Conservative Chicano. So anyway, so I just think it's interesting how people remember. The last church I went to, they know you as the token, and that's all I can say. Man, the token's my favorite. He always says something crazy. So anyway, so I just letting you. And people, they don't even know your real name's Deshaun. You're just Bishop. You're just Bishop to them. So I just want you to know that. You got the coolest name out of all of us.
Yeah, you sure do. Because compared to the token, it's great. I just, you meet people and it's like an adult conversation. They go, oh yeah, you're the token. And it's like, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Mike. But good to meet you.
It's not that bad, is it?
I mean, I have been called way worse. I would have put in a petition if it was that bad. But it's like I do have a real name. Are
you going to help your friend out over here?
No, I know this already.
That's what makes our podcast so fun, though. Oh, okay. Real quickly. Somebody commented on our YouTube page. We do read the comments, by the way, and they were laughing at all the things you could say about Journey. Don't stop believing. You came out with that, and they were like, and then the final sentence of it was, "I never really thought about it that way, but that is a little questionable."
Yeah, for sure. If he was walking down the street, you wouldn't know if that's a guy or a girl or they, them. You don't know what kind of pronouns they got.
Okay. See, isn't that unfortunate what today's times has brought us? Yeah, great artists back in the day can't just be a great artist anymore.
It's questionable.
It's questionable.
It's questionable.
It's like, is he going to Target or what?
Oh my gosh. No. Okay. This is going to be fun. So we got to just jump right into it. Were you there? Were you up in Humboldt with me when I don't know if you remember her name's Satoya and she gave a testimony?
Okay, well, first of all, you preface that with "Do I remember?"
Okay. So yes. So does the token have a dual meaning there? Token, does that have a dual meaning?
Look at you.
Look at me. All right. Play on words.
Yes. No for the testimony. Yes, I do know who she is.
You remember her because I think Tink brought her.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, she's from Compton.
So, yeah, she was. I forgot there was a group of them. But
she gave her testimony?
She gave her testimony.
It's probably going to be a good story.
This was a good story. So growing up in church, did you have testimony time people just were able to testify?
There was times people did. It wasn't It wasn't like the movies. It wasn't played out like that. It never was that crazy.
Oh no. So you never heard like a crazy testimony?
No, I remember being super drawn out like that.
What do you mean?
Like it wasn't like 10 minutes later and someone has to go take the mic,
Okay, but you didn't hear any like crazy stories?
I don't remember any.
Okay. I mean,
What?
you got any testimony stories? Nothing?
I thought you were gonna say. Well, then when you. Oh no. Crazy testimony. Oh, well, we give testimonies at our church every Tuesday.
We do.
And we hear some very interesting testimonies.
Okay. So I'm not going to tell the testimony story just yet, but I always get a kick out of it. And if I could ever do like a segment of testimonies gone wrong, like I would just clip a whole bunch of things because I have seen some testimonies go wrong. Like this went downhill quick. But somebody, I'd have to look on my DMs on my Instagram to see who sent me this. But youth groups and young adult groups, they're notorious for testimonies going really, really sour really quick. And so these guys, the Youth Group Chronicles, they get different stories from different people and they share it. So this is definitely, if we could do a segment with some deep theatrical music, dun, 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 testimonies gone wrong. I want you to watch this clip and tell me what you think. Watch this.
A woman in our church told us she wanted to share her testimony with the teenagers. After hearing a bit of it, I got the impression that this was going to be an intense testimony. I politely asked her to write it out so I could read it first and decide. From then on, every time I saw her, she asked me about sharing her testimony. I asked if she had written it out, and she would say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do that," but she never did. One night at youth group, it was going awful. And that evening, she came up to me and said that God had told her that she needed to share her testimony that night.
The God told me card. Ew.
I thought, how could this night go any worse? Like the rookie I was, I handed her the mic and went to sit down in the front row. As soon as she started, I could see she was not totally over what happened. She said, "Teenagers, when I was your age, I rebelled against my parents and ran off to get married to a man who said he loved me. But he beat me.
Oh,
Physically, emotionally, he abused me. He told me there is no way out. Then she said, one night I escaped, but he found me. So he took me up on a mountain and put a gun to my head and said, the only way out of this marriage is if you kill me or kill yourself." There was a dramatic pause before she ended her testimony by saying, "So I killed him." And she walked off the stage.
that was a testament. It was a testament to murder.
Yo.
That's even better. That was probably her first time confessing to the crime. Y'all do live streams. Send that to Popo. P.S. This clip is from our podcast, Youth Group Chronicles, available on Apple. Okay, little shout out. I was not ready for the last part. We need an update. Did the police get involved? Did they find the body? Where did she walk off to? Is she still out there? What's her description? Is she dating anybody now? What? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Somebody get mad. Did they say, and you laughed about it?
Oh my god.
They catch you off guard a little bit.
Is that real?
I'll go with yes.
Okay. You think that's real?
I think it's possible, yeah.
Okay. What? If you're the youth pastor, what do you do? How do you go up after that?
Go back to worship.
Go back Can we get the worship team, please?
Yeah, get the worship team.
How do you explain that to the parents or the kids? Hey, so Bobby, I was wondering, how did youth group go tonight? Well, Dad, I mean,
You remember Sister Becky, the weird one?
I don't know if you're. I don't know if you're gonna believe me.
Microphone. And listen.
I don't know if you're gonna believe me if I tell you, Dad. Well, go ahead, son. What happened? Well, there you go. Sister Becky got up and said she offed somebody right there. He had to, the only way out was to kill him. What are you talking about? How's that? Okay, people are gonna get mad. We were laughing about that, but
I mean, if the story's true, I'm not tripping off her shooting him. But if a dude gives you a gun and said the only way he out for you to kill me or kill yourself, I mean, hey, I ain't mad at her. Y'all can be mad at me, think I'm crazy. All the thing to do is crazy. Look it, I'm gonna tell her if it's you or him, choose yourself. like what are we talking about here? Like, I don't understand. Now you should not tell that story at youth group.
You only had two options: win or lose.
Yeah.
Win or lose.
Yeah.
So as far as you're concerned, she could tell that story. Just don't do it at youth group.
Yeah, you don't do that at youth group. Yeah.
So what was the point of her story?
That's the problem. The point of a testimony is the point towards Jesus. That didn't do any of
Well,
that.
I'm sure he was standing before
He stood
Jesus,
before
so it did
Jesus.
point to Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, but what was the point? Like, listen to your parents. Was that the point?
That's the problem. You have to be careful people telling a testimony because people want to get up there and just tell a story.
She asked
Like,
her
I
to
got a
write
cool
it
story.
out.
Yeah.
You guys stick to that. You guys stick to the write it out part.
She didn't write it out.
Write it out. Shame on you.
Whose fault? Who we give
That's
blame
the
to?
leader's fault. Shame on you, leader. You had an inclination that this was gonna go wrong.
Hey, you knew.
But everything was going bad. He's like, let me give it a shot. Hopefully they can save it.
I got an open spot this Tuesday.
Let's do a poll. You guys leave it. You guys leave it in the comments. Do you think this story is real or is it fake, or you just don't know? Let us know. Okay, so I got to talk about something. A little sad day last week. I think we asked this off air. Were you guys Hulkamaniacs? Did you guys grow up with the Hulkster?
I think Hulk was big when I was little, but I was never a wrestling dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't. I knew of him, and I watched some, but
Do you think there was a more famous wrestler than Hulk Hogan?
Oh, I mean The Rock. Yeah.
Okay, see, I just go ahead.
But as a wrestler, do you think The Rock is more famous?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking. Okay, he said John Cena. I was thinking about some names. It just entertained me just for a second. I don't think there's a bigger wrestler than Hulk Hogan because of how long he was around. So in other words, he's going to get people all the way from the baby boomers, all the way because he was so active in his social media and his daughter, all this stuff, right? There's just a lot of activity around him. And other wrestlers would constantly point to him as like Ric Flair, the pinnacle. There wasn't one more dramatic than Ric Flair, but Hulk Hogan, the duration, sheer duration. He was still on platforms. He was still doing rallies with Trump because he was that popular. I think just by sheer duration, I think you could show boomers, not all of them, but a good portion of them, some pictures of a John Cena or a Rock. Not Rock as a movie star, but Rock as a wrestler, and they may not even know him as a wrestler. They may know him more as a movie star. That's how I figured. But he passed away last week. Matter of fact, I saw it, and what was crazy is a lot of people were saying this was a false report. It took about 2 hours for everybody to confirm that he had actually passed. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But most people don't know that he gave his life to the Lord, and he became a devout believer. He was married to some controversy, actually a lot of controversy. But I want to play this clip. I thought this was interesting. Somebody said in the comments this is about 6 months before he passed, and other people say no, it was sooner than that. But nonetheless, let's play this clip. I thought this was real good.
Everything else is just temporary. Everything, the fame, the money, the ego, the physical, everything is just temporary. And once you get that and you realize that, it's so important that you make other people understand that that's the only truth there is. It's a situation that, not just knowing of him, but once you know him and once you surrender, he said he'll come back and heal our people and heal the land. So what's going to be important to me moving forward is being the vessel to spread this message, because it's the only truth there is. In Jesus' name I pray for all the viewers out there who are Hulkamaniacs and who don't know me. I hope this talk today brings everyone closer to our Lord and Savior and brings everyone home. That is the truth. That is the light. That is the only way to our Heavenly Father. And I pray that everyone walks in the light and becomes saved by Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. In Jesus' name I pray. All is well, even now. Amen.
Interesting is, as a kid, he'd always say your prayers, eat your vitamins, listen to your parents. That was a real interesting thing, that this comes full circle. Now he's not just saying it as cliche, as his little hallmark line. He actually means it's a devotion to Christ and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool that he ends up, becoming an on fire, born again believer. I thought that was pretty cool. So what'd you think of that clip?
Oh, well, my first thought was, how did he die? Do you guys know how he died? He looks pretty good right there.
I didn't see any reports yet.
I heard someone say a complication from a surgery, but I didn't read up more on it.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't heard anything
Heart
yet.
stuff or something.
So
Like he got an infection or something.
but he is older, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was late 60s if we look that up. I mean, because he was in movies for years. I mean, he did Rocky 3. What was that, 82, 84, Rocky 3? So even then, I mean, that's dang near 30 years, 40 years ago. So he's got to be in his mid-60s, early 70s. So he looked good, though. I mean, he was still...
Yeah, that's why, I mean, I guess that's why I was wondering. I mean, I had heard he passed, but I didn't hear why
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
or how.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, like, the WWF back in the day, they did a lot of drugs. A lot of steroids.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to convince me.
No, a lot of steroids, a lot of painkillers, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs. So a lot of these guys... So I think somebody had said this before. A lot of the guys in the wrestling industry, they don't live like past 40, past 50. So for him, that was a good run. And so I just wanted to share that because I thought it was interesting. This is, I guess for me, a lot of these icons, if I could say it that way, they're dying. Like this is kind of a sober reality for me. A lot of these kids that I grew up, whether it's athletes, or wrestling stars like this, it's hard to see. It's hard for me to see them as old and fragile. Like I grew up, Hulkster was bigger than life. I watched it live when he body slammed Andre the Giant. I mean, I could tell you all the WrestleManias that I watched and the action figures and all this stuff. And, from the Ultimate Road Warriors, to Randy Macho Man Savage, to the Ultimate Warrior, right? To all these guys. What was it? The Von Erichs, was it the brothers? And I mean, there was all these things. And just to see these guys getting older, it's just crazy. You making fun of Journey last week, and I'm like, I grew up to these guys. Like this is crazy. Like to see them getting old, it's just sober reality for me. Like I guess in comparison, like to watch The Rock get older for you guys in your generation, it makes you're getting old too, basically. So I thought that was crazy. Okay, I had said something to you guys a few weeks ago. I just want to circle back. And tell me if you guys remember, I started mentioning about AI, how I felt like AI was going to have a part in the end time.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? I said, hey, some of the stuff in Revelation that we haven't figured out or that's been a little ominous, just mysterious. I said, man, I feel like AI is going to have a huge part in this. Anyway, long story short, people heard that podcast and they started sending me stuff about this temple being built, the third temple being built in Israel. And then somebody sent me this clip, and I just want to show it to you because I feel like, and this just could be me, and if I'm wrong, dude, I hope I'm wrong. How about that? But I feel like in my spirit, like stuff is moving quicker. And so the reason I say it, I want you to watch this clip, and then I want to talk about it a little bit right here. Watch this.
You guys see the video? They did the practice sacrifice for the red heifer in Israel.
Yeah, so what's up with that?
July, a mock burning of a disqualified red heifer in Samaria, not the Mount of Olives, as a rehearsal for the potential future public ceremony.
They're getting ready.
They're practicing.
That'll be scary.
Isn't it wild?
I mean, they're going to do it in front of everyone, right? It'll be a big thing.
They will either live stream it, which they said that they were going to do that,
Wow.
but now they're talking about doing it in secret.
Yeah, wouldn't you do it in secret? It's like a declaration of war. Not that they're not already at war.
Crazy. I mean, the video is wild. I thought it was a statue at first that they were burning,
Yeah.
but it was a disqualified red heifer.
Which
Do
is
they,
a
they
bummer.
don't burn it alive, right? They kill it for.
Yeah.
If the temple gets reestablished and then the Jewish faith starts doing animal sacrifices again, what's PETA going to do?
Ooh, they're going to start getting real creative.
So I know a little joke at the end. What do you think about that?
So they're supposed to have the sacrifice at that temple, the one with the gold dome. Okay. I always think of that spot. I always think about when we went to Israel, the tour guide saying like, hey, this piece of land right here, if they start fighting over this, like all the world's gonna break out basically in the war. Like this is the most important land right here. And so just the idea that this I mean that guy, he's not even a believer. He was what do you call it, secular Jew. Yeah. And because like no, this is important. Like if they start fighting over this land, war's breaking out.
Give me your thoughts, and I'm gonna circle back to that though.
Do you feel like, or do you have knowledge of them practicing that burning any other time?
No,
They don't have a temple.
correct.
Well, yeah. But as far as like just the
Practicing.
getting it ready and
I keep hearing rumors about it, but that's not a rumor. That's true.
yeah, because I want to say
No,
Jimmy
because
Evans started talking about
He did, but I subscribe to a couple papers over there. They're reporting it. That's just true. And matter of fact, a couple heifers came from the States. One of them is from Texas, I believe.
That's
Yeah.
the one that.
So let me circle back to that.
Because they said they have it.
Correct. So, well, they have a few because you don't just have one. The priest will then inspect out of those few which one's the perfect one. Because they could get a defect while they're waiting to be sacrificed, if that makes any sense. Okay, they have to be pure and spotless at the day of the sacrifice. No sickness, no nothing. So that piece of land, the Temple Mount, Dome of the Rock, I think that's what starts the war. I don't think that guy was wrong. I think that's what starts the war. Now there's going to be the precursor to the war, right? There's going to be a precursor to the war, and that's what gets me so concerned, right? However, some sort of deal's got to be made that but my personal opinion, if I can, I think there will be a temple and a mosque literally conjoined together.
Well, they're super close together right now. Those
They are.
two, yeah.
But I think they're going to be super close together. Now the difference is you have to have the rock, the Selah rock that's in the Temple Mount. That has to be in the temple because that's what the Ark of the Covenant sits on. Has to be there. That's the cornerstone. That's the foundation. That rock is everything. Okay? They believe that rock fell from heaven. That is the center of the world, period. North, south, east, west. That's the center. That's what Adam was formed from. The rock right there. Now, here's my point. There's a spot, and I believe it's Rachel's tomb. It's somebody's tomb. I'd have to look it up, or it's Abraham's. It might be the tomb of the patriarchs, where there is a temple and a mosque. It is the tomb of the patriarchs, and it's a temple and a mosque, and they share it. On the left hand, if we were standing looking at the left hand side is the temple, and the right hand side is the mosque. And so that is, I believe that's just outside Bethlehem somewhere, Epaphra or something. I got to look. But long story short, what I'm saying is that's what I think happens. But there's got to be some type of trade or some type of deal that happens. And I believe that's how they barter. I believe that's how that happens. And then what they're going to do is, of course, they're going to start doing all the temple stuff, and that's going to trigger the war. So anyway, that's just my opinion. That's how I see it. But everybody out there said there's not going to be a third temple. They're wrong. They're just wrong. There's no way around it. I mean, as you read Revelation, there's no way around a third temple. So I don't know how they even get to that conclusion. But I'm open if somebody wants to school me on that. I'm open to learning how they get to that conclusion personally. But so does that answer your question about the war and what starts that war?
Oh no, I agree with it. No, I think that's what it would be too. No, I agree when he said it. It was like it made sense to me. I mean, you see how much security and how much they care about that. And the other temple that's there, I forgot what it is. Maybe
mosque.
Yeah, it's like their fifth most holiest site. Something with their and so they already care about the area a lot, anyways. In general, even without that portion. But I mean, they're right next to each other.
Right next to each other, and then you got Solomon Stables right down the steps. Right. No, this is important. So I just keep going back to what Jesus said. Right. If you stick with the word, you don't go wrong. There'll be wars, rumors, and wars. There'll be famine. You know, all these signs of the times. So there's a lot of people who believe the Antichrist is already alive, and he's already around. So you know what I'm saying. So this is super interesting. It's getting there. So anyway, now were you gonna ask a different question?
No. I mean,
above your pay grade.
Oh, for sure. But every once in a while, I'll listen to some of Jimmy Evans' end time stuff, and it's wild. And he'll just go for it. His little podcast, whatever, his episodes are like 30 minutes, and he's just like, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's
there are people who spend a lot of time on this, and they can quote stuff, details, boom, 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 and a lot of people like to dismiss them because they're okay. So what happens is you always get the doom and gloomers, and they sometimes will give you dates. You know what I mean? You know, Y2K, that's when it all goes down, or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, there's people who really study this. And there will be signs. Oh, let me give you an example. So I didn't know this, but little educational tip if you guys know. So Jesus says the wheat and the tares must grow together, right? Until harvest time. Do you know how back in the day they were able to tell a wheat from a tare when it was time for harvest?
You saying without pulling it?
Mm-hmm. Do you know how they were able to tell? Because they look almost identical. You ready for the answer? The wheat bows down when it's ready to harvest, and the tare stands up. So Jesus was speaking of dualism. He was saying, not only must you be wheat, right, but you must bow down. In other words, if you want to serve the king and if you want to make it in the harvest, he could have used any other example. Sheep and goats, he could have went back, but he said wheat and tare. Because a tare will stand up with pride and arrogance with their chests puffed out. I didn't need Jesus. But the wheat, when it's time for the harvest, bow down, knowing that they need a savior. So don't be the tare, be wheat. Right? So all these little things that that we're not sure about. I learned another one. I was in a little class, little Torah class. All these years, did you know that Potiphar was a eunuch? Mm-hmm. He couldn't sleep with his wife.
The little plot twist.
The plot twist. Did you know that?
No.
Made me look at her a little bit different now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why, you know,
she was needing companionship.
Yes.
She was.
Now
And Joseph, and the Bible said, was a handsome man.
Should we have not judged her so hard now, knowing that?
Well, I'm still going to judge her,
I mean,
but not as hard.
Just not as hard.
Not as hard. Yeah. Did you know that?
Well,
It's in the Hebrew.
Okay.
It's in the Hebrew. The position. So when they talk about Potiphar being in the courtyard of Pharaoh, Pharaoh didn't have anybody in his courtyard outside of his generals. And they didn't really sit in that courtyard all the time. They were more consultants.
Yeah.
Potiphar was his next in command. He couldn't. It was never. They said in history, never. And that's what the writer of Hebrews was. Pardon me. That's what the writer of Genesis was giving you a clue to. That Potiphar was. So my point in saying all this is, from the Old Testament to the New Testament, there's lots of shrouds of mystery. That unless we understand not only Koine Greek, but what was going on at the time and what Jesus was pointing to, because a lot of it was rabbinical teachings. A lot of it was, just stuff that he was teaching himself as a rabbi. But a lot of it was also an amalgamation of some Old Testament prophecies. Like, I didn't know this, but Psalms is the number one quoted book in the New Testament. He quotes Psalms more than anything else. And I think they said second was Isaiah. So in other words, that's all I'm getting at. So when people quickly dismiss about the end times, well, how do you know? Who made you an expert? These guys who have been studying this stuff, and I understand why, and I'm not even mad. A lot of people get out there, they get weird. That's the problem. They get weird. And every blood moon, there's a natural calamity coming. You know what I'm saying. And so I get it, but we shouldn't what's the old saying? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so there's some stuff happening though. So I don't know. I just see things different. That's all. I mean, they say ignorant is bliss. I wish I didn't know half the stuff I knew, because maybe I'd be like, oh, okay, everything's good. And I'm over here going, no, I don't know if that's good or not. Like Trump said the other day, the peace deal's off with Gaza now. I'm like, what does that mean? Like what? Because the prophetic word, two prophetic words that people say for sure are going to come to pass. Damascus is completely destroyed. That's Syria. Wiped out. It says inhabitable. Someone's dropping a bomb. Something. Okay. Or they cloud seed and flood them out. I don't know. I mean, see that's the other thing I was getting at the other week about that. Like, we don't even have to drop bombs no more, which is an interesting, you know what I mean? Which is an interesting way to look at stuff. You could just flood it so bad that it's just a lake now and Damascus is gone. Right? You see where I'm going with that? And the second one is there's supposed to be a highway going through Gaza to Jerusalem. And so it's prophesied in Isaiah. So anyway, I'm just throwing all this stuff out there. So back to the red heifer. I don't know, man. I've never been the one to say, hey guys, I think we might see Jesus in my lifetime. I've never been that guy. But maybe I'm getting old and I'm just looking at stuff different. But I start thinking, that might be possible.
Well, they're practicing the burning of the red heifer. It's kind of makes you go,
What's a red heifer, anyways?
Well, it's for Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement.
But
what is it?
But how do you get a red heifer?
Oh, I ain't a rancher.
Just breed it.
I don't
Breed
know.
some red.
Texas.
I feel like every time you say Texas, you got to spit, like in a spittoon, right?
But they did.
They did it. It's true.
Spotless.
I don't.
Red heifer.
I guess it's a gift from God. We'd have to ask a rabbi that, why the red heifer. And I know
I mean,
it's
when I
commanded,
go to
but
the fair, they got all kinds of different cows over there.
Yeah, but I wonder what type of genetic anomaly a red heifer.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
So
Ginger.
okay, so So I want to play you guys a clip. I'm not going to even set it up, other than we talked about John Gray last week.
This guy, dude.
And then okay, but I'm not going to. Can I just show you the clip? Let me just show you the clip.
I don't want to watch John.
You're going to watch the
John
clip.
Gray?
You're going to watch the clip. Watch this clip.
So I was thinking about some of the things that I've experienced over 30 plus years of being in every facet of ministry and also being in the Christian entertainment industrial complex, which is not the same as ministry, because one is solely focused on the souls and building disciples, and the other is an ecosystem that requires an economy and a business mindset first. Hey, maybe we should stop calling them nights of worship if you're selling tickets, because worship is free. Now, you can worship at a concert, but don't call it a night of worship and then sell tickets. Just call it a concert, because we're paying for the lights and the sound and the staging, and we're also paying for the personality of the person who's there. So stop using church words to mask what it is. You are having a concert with songs about Jesus, but there's a ticket price. And we're grown, so just say what it is. But stop trying to Jesus it up by calling it a night of worship. Same with conference registration. You're paying for a ticket to go to a conference. That's the fee. But, you know, the whole idea of using church words to mask what is a clear business decision is problematic. And so, you know, I just can't imagine Jesus, you know, selling tickets, you know, for a night of worship. And so I just felt like saying that. Rich Mullins, God bless his soul, said something very similar, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. The local church is supposed to be the place where you get fed, where you get discipled, where you walk, where you are trained, where you are covered, because the church grew not from church to church, but house to house. And so you can worship at your house. But if you want to gather with people who are like-minded and y'all want to go to a concert and have a good time and all of that, then go see your favorite people. But just don't, you know, relegate it to a night of worship and then sell tickets, because this is problematic. Yeah. So that's what's up.
Okay, Bishop, what do you think? Is he wrong, or is it just consider the source?
Is he wrong? I think you. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with them, but I think people know what they're going to. I don't think people are confused.
Okay.
So I don't know what issue he's addressing.
Tell me if you think I'm right. I think what he's addressing is watch what you label it. You don't label it a night of worship if you're going to sell tickets. I don't know what else you would label it, but or maybe just put your name.
Concert. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with them. I just don't know. I don't think that's a. I don't know. I look at it. I don't think that's a big deal. I think people know. Although people are confused. I don't think people are saying, "Well, I got to pay for a night of worship." Like, I don't think people are saying that.
I think. What'd you hear?
Two things. Number one, I'd be a little concerned if I'm on the road with him. He's not looking at the road when he's driving.
Does that bother you?
No, because I'm not on the road with him. But
it was a bad angle for the camera shot too. But
okay. Number two, I wonder why this is a thing for him. Did he get burned? Like what? Why do a video about this? I don't understand.
Well, okay, we all hear what we hear, right? So there's what he said and what we hear. What I'm hearing him say is he's turned off by the whole Christian complex thing. He wasn't lying when he said, that he was on all these circuit tours and all this stuff. 10 years ago, he was one of the hottest preachers. He was on Oprah. He was Dr. Phil. He was on everything. Mm-hmm. He was at every conference I went to featuring John Gray. He was teaching at Joel Osteen's church. I mean, the guy, he has some great sermons. And I think he just got burnt out by it. And he just got burnt out by them. I think what his concern is mislabeling. Don't call it a worship night when worship is supposed to be free, and you're supposed to be able to gather together under Christ's, kingdom and worship.
But do you think? I mean, like what Deshaun said, do you think that?
I don't think people are confused,
right? No. So what's? I would understand the mislabeling in the event that it's like taking advantage of somebody.
I think he's talking about people who are starting to get the wrong idea of what worship is. Worship isn't a concert.
So because we're putting that on the label,
Yes.
there's bad fruit because of that.
Right. Worship isn't a concert.
Can you see he starts to go talk about conferences, and I think he probably stopped himself because
he was a conference guy.
Oh, he was a huge conference guy.
Well, everyone he runs with probably does conferences.
Yeah. Oh, so you think he stopped himself on purpose?
He probably still wants to do conferences.
No, but you think he stopped himself on purpose?
Yeah. Let me step back on this one.
But that brings us into an issue where, do we want to monetize the gospel? That brings us to an issue.
Yeah, I mean, then that could be a bigger question. Like, well, what?
Okay, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Because we about to go down. Next week's episode, let's talk about pastors for profits, monetizing the gospel. Matt, we'll make that the title: Pastoring for Profits, Monetizing the Gospel. And I got a couple clips people have already sent me. We'll talk about that. I just want to end up on this.
That's a hard one.
I just want to end up on this, just so everybody knows. I've got no problem paying for a conference because nobody's forcing me to go. I'm going with the intent to learn, with the intent to grow, with the intent to network. So I go, I go for my whole personal reasons. And I feel like for the conferences that I choose to go to, I'm enriched. I am better. Now, do I feel they have to charge as much? Well, I don't know. I don't know what all the expenses are. But do I also feel like we should be in the same breath as pastors giving back? Right. So I'm setting that up for next week for you guys. So, but I don't want people going away from this episode thinking, Anthony's got some axe to grind. I don't got any axe to grind. I do think it's interesting coming from John Gray, but listen, here's what I'm a big proponent of. Truth is truth. And what he is saying about let's not mislabel things, I agree with that. And by the way, even if they were to label it something different, I'm still going to go see him. Like, I mean, I know you guys aren't his biggest fan, a big-ass fan as I am of Brandon Lake, but I'd still go to see him.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't understand. I mean, maybe my kids will want to go one day and I'll go with them, but I'm not paying to go hear worship.
Yeah.
Me personally.
I know you don't.
Yeah.
But I like music. I like all that stuff. I've always paid. And I don't got a problem with it. That's what I'm saying. I do hear him on the labeling, but no matter what they label, like you said, I don't think anybody's being suckered. That's where I agree with you. So I don't care what they label it. And if that's going to help clear up the confusion and clear the air, I agree. Then let's clear it up. We always want to get better at communicating. That's just me. But I enjoy those things. I love going to where, I've been to Hillsong. I've been to a lot. I've been to a lot of different things. And I like going. So anyway, that's just me. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys about something. But I do want to ask you if there was anything you want to talk about as far as what you read this last week. If not, don't worry about it. I have something I just want to get your opinion on because I thought it was really interesting. And I kind of want you guys to be my sounding board if Anthony's doing a little too much and going a little too far, okay? So, but if you want me to just talk and answer the question, I will. Or if you want to share, Exodus was a little different this last week. Whole lot of put some blood on your earlobe. Whole lot of curtains and drawing curtains and blood on a toe. There was a whole lot of let's build an ark out of acacia wood. You know what I mean?
Aaron got to do a lot of stuff.
Aaron
the kids.
Hey, Aaron was working hard. Aaron needed a little raise. He needed a little raise.
Special outfits.
He was making those outfits too.
Right? Do you think maybe if he would have got a raise, maybe he would have done his job right?
Oh.
I don't know. The gold just appeared as a cat. I don't know. It popped out like that.
But Moses did get an artist to make all the other stuff.
That was today, so that's okay.
Oh, it was okay.
That's today. So my question to you guys, it was very, very clear. I believe his name was Othniel. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but Exodus, what was it, 31? It was very clear that God gave him this gift and the ability to teach others. Just asking. I, in my devotional time, pretty much said, God gives everybody a gift. Now, granted, we're not doing what he did because look at it says he was working with wood, metals, like all sorts of things. He did it all. All I'm saying is, this is where I wanted to ask you if I was doing too much. I feel that way about athletes. That's God's gift to them. I mean, think about it. What is it? Over 6'5" or over 6'7", something like that, is less than 0.1% of the people in the world. I don't know if you knew that, but it's a staggering number of it's crazy. So I look at these guys. Somebody, you know who Myles Garrett is? He's defensive end. Somebody posted a picture of him the other day and go, how is this physically possible to look like this? He's jacked. Like he had a muscle on his muscle. I didn't even know that was possible. But like there was a muscle. I was like, yo, what's up, muscle? You know what I mean? Like I was like, how's that possible? I think his body fat is 0.0000. Like it's just ridiculous. And I'm thinking that was God's gift. You're 6'5", you're probably 260 all muscle, and you could jump over a building. Like how is that possible? Like you're as fast as a running back. Like that's physically not possible. Where's all my physicists at? Right? It's like a bumblebee flying. Right? So I'm reading today's chapter and I'm thinking to like Elon Musk and how smart he is, to the guy Altman who does ChatGPT, all these guys, or that doctor, was that his name? Was that his name? Last week? Cancer guy. This is God's gift. Like I just started seeing it a whole different way, if that makes any sense. You got people who literally have a gift to take apart things, and as long as they took it apart, they know how to put it back together. It's just how their brain works. And I started recognizing people in just different lights, just different shades of like amazing things. Like, man, your gift is singing. What a gift from God. And here's where I was going, whether they acknowledge him or not, it's still their gift. It's still their gift. And so anyway, I just got to thinking over the whole spectrum as well. Am I doing too much? Am I going too far now? Just thinking of the whole spectrum from the scientist to the athlete. This is God's endowment. This is his gift to people.
I don't think so. I mean, I saw that when they talked about the embroiderers a few chapters back. And my takeaway was like the same thing. Like everybody had a part to play, but like God literally gives you the gifts, and it's up to you whether or not you want to use it and how you want to use it. And you see people do amazing things with their gift, and then also glorify God. You see somebody like Carr, where pretty much every chance that he got when he was in the league, he really shine light on him being a believer. But yeah, if you look at it, even like genetically, like I went to school with the guy that was in the NFL, and like his mom was short. His mom was a little bit taller than his dad, but his dad was short, and like the dude was like a Hall of Fame NFL dude. And he couldn't have tried to get that big. It's a gift.
Yeah.
And what he does with it, that's up to him. But like that, I can't try harder to get taller than him. I've been trying.
I was gonna say, would we try? I would try. If there was a special diet, I'd be on.
The only way that I get taller than him is when he hits the lever on that seat and it goes down.
Yeah,
and I get
come on. That's hit those switches, bro. Let's go. Yeah, but okay? Real quickly, I just have a question for you. Should it have been possible for Tim Lincecum to throw the ball as fast and as hard as he did?
No. When you look at some of these people, it's like.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, the picture.
It's like you can't. You just have it or you don't.
That's my point.
But when you have it, you didn't do anything to get it.
Didn't. Now you could hone it in and develop it a little bit better and get better at it, but you got to have it. You got to have it to start with.
Right, and that's how you see guys who get to the league is that they have it plus they work at it.
Right.
But
my coach used to tell me either you got speed or you don't. He goes, I can make you a little quicker, but you ain't going from a 5 to a 4.
Look, man, when I was in after-school program in 3rd grade, my teacher in after-school program was this guy named Malcolm, okay? He was 5'6". He windmilled over me and broke the backboard.
You either have it or you don't.
I remember like yesterday. I see his legs go, ooh. And it wasn't
That's like Nate Robinson. Should it have been possible for Nate Robinson to do it? No. Okay, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm big on the sovereignty of God, so probably in the far extreme. But yeah, okay. Yeah, God gives gifts. I mean, you see people who just have naturally, it's like, man, how do you do that? Like, you see kids just like, how do you know how to do that? Like, no one taught you. You just start doing crazy stuff. It's like there's something in you that you just have it. So,
and what I think is he gives us the choice. Our gift to him is when we use it for his glory. Our gift back to him is when we use it for his glory.
And isn't it that the trap of the enemy is that you compare your gift to somebody else's?
Oh, comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah.
So that I don't use it.
Right. No, comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh yeah, you're an athlete, so you're better than me, but I'm a mechanic. We have friends at the church who are mechanics, and I'm like, how do you know how to do that,
bro?
Like you are so smart,
bro. Okay, so my homie Rick has got like 2-3 cars torn apart right now. He's got all the parts in 3 locations. And every day I say to myself, how do you know how to put this car back together? You know what he told me one time when he was putting one of the cars back together? He goes, well, the wires just kind of go where the wires go. What does that mean? The wires just go where the wires go. It's like, okay, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how does one wire just pop up and be like, hey, bro, wrong spot. Okay, don't put me there. Like, no, I was confused.
He'll take away parts and put them right there. And I'm like, how you gonna put that back?
Yes.
I mean, they're right there. I know that goes together. I saw you taking it apart, but I have no idea.
And
how
I
you
need
together.
you to put that back.
There's no extra parts.
I trust that you know what you're doing. 'Cause if you ask me for help,
Yeah, so I want to just encourage everybody. God has given you a gift, and it may take you some time to find out what that gift is or hone that gift in or, really get good at that gift. What we would say, perfect the craft. But I want to encourage you. Your gift back to God is when you use that gift to glorify God's kingdom. And that's why it's so important that we serve in a local church, that we serve the body. I said something, and I don't mean it to be controversial, okay? But I do mean it to be factual. But I'm not trying to offend anybody. Oh, this is not offended podcast. A lot of people get offended, but I'm not trying intentionally. But you can't tell me you're a body of you cannot tell me you're a part of the body of Christ if you don't serve anybody in the body of Christ. You just can't. You can't say, hey, I'm a part of the body of Christ, but yet you don't serve anybody in the body of Christ. You got to be actively serving in God's body to be a part of the body. And if not, think about it. If a body part gets infected or inflamed, normally they operate on it. They either get it well or they remove it. So I understand if and this, I want to segue to right here about, I call today's podcast A Family Affair, and I want to talk about church hurt. I was listening to my wife talk yesterday. I didn't get a chance to hear John yet. As soon as it uploads, I will. But I got to hear Mandy. And she was talking about the family of God. Literally, the family of God. Talking about Abram, right? Abraham or Abram. And she was talking about how this family was just jacked up. Isaac is following his dad, and Jacob, the great deceiver, and Esau. But from the beginning, families were messy. Cain and Abel. I mean, we could just go on and on. You guys know the story. I'm not telling you nothing new. And I thought to myself, there's nothing new in the body still. I do believe there's church hurt because I believe there's family hurt. I believe families are messy. I believe because of our brokenness and our own sinful nature, our own narcissism, whatever you want to label it. Like our deck is stacked against us. You could have the most wonderful parents in the world and you're still going to have some trauma and drama. You're still going to. If they couldn't get it right with the first parents, how do you expect your parents to get it right? And so I just feel like, and I don't want to overplay or downplay the church hurt, but it wasn't the actual church. It was the people in the church that you got hurt by. Whether it was a pastor. I talked to some guy stopped me at the gym just last week, Thursday or Friday last week, stopped me at the gym. He's talking about how he's, just started coming to our church. He's slowly starting to just get a feel for it. He said he got really hurt by his pastor. Told me a little bit of the story. You know what I told him? I said, everywhere you go, there you are. Someone's bound to hurt you sooner or later. It's inevitable. Even if it's intentional or unintentional, we're bound to get hurt. It's just life. It's what you do with that hurt. It's how you move on and move forward. And I think people have they have unrealistic expectations of church. Oh, I'm just going to be around a bunch of perfect people. Nah, man. Everybody I talked to said Freedom Nights are hitting different. Why? Because we're just reminding you we're all broken. I tried hard to be a good parent, but I know I wasn't. Does that make sense? You guys got kids. You try hard to be a good parent, but you have a bad day too. You have an off day, right? You try hard to be a good pastor. You have a bad day, right? But how do we help people? If families are messy, if our first family, who were direct descendants of God, by the way, it wasn't like Adam was twice removed. Adam was like, woke up one day, there's God, who literally breathed life in him. And it wasn't like Eve was, 5 times removed. I mean, we got an excuse. We're far removed, right? Mm-hmm. Eve was walking in the cool. They fellowship with God, and they still got it wrong. And then they raised 2 kids, and one of them got it wrong, right? And this is straight from the apple tree, so to say. Am I wrong in saying I think people have unrealistic expectations, Bishop? What would you say? You've been in church a long time. Is church hurt inevitable? Is it bound to happen?
Yeah, I am. I guess me personally, I don't always fully understand it. Like,
Go ahead.
How do you equate someone doing you wrong to the church?
Oh, that leap.
Yeah,
Okay.
To me personally, I don't equate it to those two the same. There's going to be people in church you don't like, or people like it's like.
Are we allowed to say that?
People who bother you, like that's just I suspect that there's people you're closer to. There's gonna be certain things you may not like, and if you feel like God's not calling you to be there, then don't be there. But if God's calling you to be there, then be there and realize not everything's going to be perfect. You can't expect everything to be perfect in church. It's not going to be. But I'm willing to hear you out if you're involved and you care about the church. Now, if you're not involved, then I probably don't want to hear from you. You can sit there and be quiet and not do anything like you're doing. But if you're on my team, and you're there serving other people with me, you want to see people come to Christ. You're like, hey, I think maybe we could do this better. I'm willing to hear anyone out that's serving. Anyone who's on an Adventure A team, I'm willing to hear from you and how we can get better.
Why do you say that so staunchly? If you're not doing anything, then I'm really not open to hearing from you.
'Cause I don't know if you're on my side.
Oh, okay.
If you're on my side and we're like, man, we're really trying to move forward with this gospel, that's all I care about. I have no pride saying no, it has to be this way. It's no, you think you see something? Share with please don't be quiet. I want you to share with me, because it doesn't mean I'm saying everything. There may be issues that we may be hurt. This might hurt someone later on if we don't address this now. Let's go fix this.
So you're not saying that the person who's not serving doesn't have any value. You're just saying is what type of value do you have if you're not helping us to get better?
Yeah, we want to, because I can't. You expected me to trust you. I don't know if I can trust you because you're not even part of the team.
Right.
Come be part of the team.
We don't even do life together.
Yeah. Come do life with us. Come be part of this. And it's I'm willing to hear you out. What you have might be something truly good, but it's how can I trust that you really have the best interest in mind?
What about would you? I like that. What'd you think of that? What he was saying?
Man, you already know what I think. I think part of that equation is, you don't if you serve in church, a lot of times you'll know the why, and you'll understand. Oh, okay, this is why we do it a certain way. And so when you give your input, you're giving input based off of that, because you understand culturally, this is who we are, this is why we do it. And so then when you get somebody who doesn't serve, they don't understand that oftentimes. And so they're speaking into something that they don't even really know about. And then to also piggyback off of what you're talking about in regards to people not serving, it can come from a very selfish perspective.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because they're talking about how it affects them.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do we do worship this way? Well, why not?
Okay.
Well, because I like it that way. Oh, okay. That's the reason why you're asking me, because it's what you want.
Okay.
Whereas when you understand the why and you're in the context of asking a question why, they may say something like, hey, Pastor Deshaun, why do we do it like this? Because I've been noticing that a lot of people are like this. They're focusing on other people around them, because serving is all about serving other people. When you sit there and do nothing, it's just all about yourself. And so I want to hear about how it affects other people. I mean, you just sitting there and taking up a seat, we appreciate you being here and hearing the gospel, but you can do that anywhere.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question. I've been struggling with this. I don't know why. And maybe it's because I've overthought it. And I could have. This could all be a me thing, okay? So just hear me out. I feel, can I stress that enough? If this was like you were texting somebody, you want the feel to go real big, bam, right, and shrink back down. I feel this way. The people who struggle with church hurt, and I'm just asking a blank statement question here. I feel like those are people who've had a lot of family drama and have some unresolved issue with either one parent or both parents. And I feel that way because inside the family nucleus, the nuclear family, you're supposed to work through issues. Your parents are supposed to teach you how to get along with your siblings, right? Somebody told me something the other day. They said, I have to remind my son that his sister is a girl because he wants to beat her up like a boy. It's like, you can't do that too. I know you guys, this all makes sense to you guys. So I feel like people they have some underlying undertow relational issues that they never learned how to work through things. And so therefore they bring that in the church, and the first sign of a church conflict with another person, because they didn't learn how to work through it as an adolescent, they don't know how to work through it as an adult. And so they get hyper focused on the negative. instead of really trying to look for resolve and work through to get to the positive, because there's going to be work. And that's part of learning that as a child, is that's going to be hard work. It's going to take a lot of energy to work through these things. And most people don't know how to do that. So then they go from church to church, and they're going to keep getting hurt at church because the issue's them. They got to work through their sibling rivalry, which is a lot of time comparison and jealousy and envy. They got to work through their mom dysfunction, which a lot of times is going to be, you know, they weren't emotionally coddled, or they weren't, you know, well taken care of. They weren't in touch with their own feelings. They got to work through the issue with their dad where they saw him as an authoritarian, as if he was this mean person. And go ahead. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I think the people that, because there are things that are going to come up, and some of the people that I know that we really love and care about are people who work through stuff. Because like, oh, it's going to be things that are legitimate. Like, okay, we got to work through this. It's like this is a hard situation, and they're willing to work through it. Like, oh, they see the vision of the church. They love the church. They love the people, and we see their maturity. Yeah, it was like, oh, we can trust this person as well, even more, because like they're willing to work through things, and they're not just going to run when things get hard, but they're here truly for the gospel. They want to see us do well. They want to see the church do well, and they want to get better. It's like a person who's able to work through stuff. You're like, oh, that's a healthy person.
Bingo. Because
stuff is going to happen, and there's going to be some issues that pop up, but the sign of your health is like, are you able to see through this and work through this instead of just running to the next thing, next issue come up, and then you keep running and running and running.
Yeah. What about you? My correlation to the family, and that I think these are some people who, and I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm saying this in a very positive, healthy way. Like, hey, I'm trying to help diagnose you, you know, as if you were sick at the doctor, right? You over here thinking you got some ulcers in your stomach. You just got bad heartburn, you know, change a little bit of your diet and get some Prilosec, right? I'm just trying to help. So I'm not saying anybody's bad or wrong for this, but I'm saying this is what I've noticed. Do you think I'm wrong on that? Like the people who keep getting this church, or the people who've got unresolved issues in their own family?
Yeah, and I think you'll see oftentimes people will come into church like that, hoping to not again be disappointed. And so we can oftentimes have unreal expectations on the church. And what ends up happening is you get disappointed again. And because you have those unrealistic expectations, it's inevitable at some point something's going to happen. And so it's learning how to deal with disappointment.
Can I want to close with this clip, and then we'll get our thoughts, and we'll close. But this is the last clip I want to show. I think my wife sent this to me, and I don't necessarily agree with the whole thing, but he says something in here. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I just want to see if you catch it. And I want to talk about it because I feel like this is a very healthy thing. Actually, I'm going to tell you two things. Not only do I feel like it's healthy, I feel like it will literally, in my own personal opinion, help you to find more joy in your life. I really do. Okay? So just watch this clip and we'll talk about it right here. Watch this.
Why are so many people cutting off their mums after therapy? Here's what the science and hundreds of DMs from worried mothers are telling us. Petijas Cruz Herrera 2019 ran a study that might explain a lot of this. Participants were asked to do something simple. Think differently about their mum. One group focused on positive traits, the other on negative ones. Then the researchers asked them to recall childhood memories. And boom, memories changed. People who thought more positively, they remembered their mums as more loving. The ones who focused on the negative, their memories of warmth and love faded. This wasn't a long-term therapy process either. This was a quick experimental reframing, and it was enough to shift how people remembered their entire emotional history. Now imagine doing this not once, but week after week, year after year in therapy. Or scrolling through social media where boundaries and narcissistic parent trends dominate your feed. Of course memory gets rewritten, but here's the truth. Not all rewritten memories are more accurate. Some are just more emotionally convenient. Therapy's powerful, and when it's mixed with algorithmic fed outrage and pop psych bubbles, it can tip into distortion. I'm not saying all estrangements are unjustified, but I am saying we need to decide how much of reflecting on our childhood stories is healing and how much of it is reprogramming. And for the hundreds of mothers who have messaged me in heartbreak, there's still hope, because if memory is changeable, then so is connection.
What'd you hear? What'd you think of that?
Oh, man, I don't know.
I'm gonna do a little experiment on you here in a second.
I don't know. I mean, people. I don't know. I to come out to me. I be nice to people, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just.
What do you think?
Is the hair?
What? No. Nothing
He's
about
the
hair.
No. What do you think about what he's saying?
I think it's possible. I just.
Which part's possible?
That you could look. You can go back and look at things.
Do you know the trends he's talking about though?
I know what it's leading to. I don't know much about it, but I know
it's a huge trend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my thing is like get over it. I mean, I guess that's.
Oh no! The trend of
no, I'm talking about the kids.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but we're gonna do on our show. I'm literally gonna run you through an experiment. Okay. I'm gonna show you why you feel the way you feel. Okay. What'd you think of what he said?
I have been seeing some of that as well, and hearing that from people whose kids are 18 to 27,
30,
ish, or so it's one of those things where like I'm starting to see it and hear about it a lot. But I thought that was interesting. The more that you dwell on the past, that you talk about it, it starts to reshape your memories. I can see that.
Okay, so watch this. I've never heard you tell a negative story about your childhood. Mm-hmm. Have you?
Talk about my childhood?
Him.
Oh.
Well, the sentimental music in the background from Mike. No, I said I've never heard Bishop tell a negative story. The only negative story I've ever heard was I didn't realize I had cheap shoes until I went to school and I realized I had cheap shoes. Or something about your friend had cheap shoes. Yeah. I've never heard you tell a negative story.
Never. He's never said not one that I've heard.
No. Does that mean your dad never spanked you?
I didn't get in trouble much.
No, but I'm saying
I can't remember if he did or didn't.
Okay, but
it's possible. Yeah.
Okay,
it's very possible.
Does your mom not have rules?
Oh, no, but now we had a lot of rules.
Okay, just give us a couple. Go ahead.
Could you watch Simpsons?
Couldn't watch Simpsons. Didn't have Monopoly for a long time because I couldn't have dice in the house.
7 bring 11 though. Back door, little Joe. Kokomo, come on. Woo! We get no snake eyes. We can go all day on these dice games.
Boxcar.
Yeah.
You can get a tattoo or earrings. Just have to move out.
Okay, no. Look at the camera. Look right there. Say that again.
You can get a tattoo or earring, but you just have to move out the house. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. People today would see that as abuse. Am I right or wrong?
Oh yeah.
So was your girlfriend coming over to the house and staying until midnight, 1 o'clock?
No. Oh no.
He said with a smile. Nope. Sure ain't. Why? What would happen?
I don't even know. I don't think anyone tried it.
I was trying to get one of them confessions on air. No, youth group confessions right there.
That's not worth it. It's not worth
it.
Okay. No one was that hot.
Okay. Okay. My point is, you've programmed your brain to only remember the good stuff. I remember sitting at your dad's funeral and they were talking about some of the stuff your dad did. The first thing you said was, I didn't know my dad did that. I think it was drive the church youth bus. Man, they broke down on the grapevine. Your old pastor friend, he had great stories. Those were some great stories. And you walked out there going, I didn't even know that part of my dad.
Yeah.
Right? But that didn't make you feel less than like you didn't know your dad. So to me, it's like he's right. If you choose to dwell on the good memories, not that there's not bad memories, not that there wasn't, strict rules, but if you choose to dwell on the good memories, then you are going to program your brain to think, hey, it wasn't half as bad as what everybody says it was. It wasn't the best of times, but it wasn't the worst times. It was just the times. And it was what you made it.
Yeah, and I think it's like, how do you choose to view your parents? Like, I believe my parents really loved me and cared about me and want the best for me. And so no matter what they did, I always defaulted back to that.
Okay.
And so I think people always seem like, no, they just want to put me down. They want me to have fun. Like that's their concept of their parents. And it's like,
Right.
is that true?
Okay, but do they not carry that concept in with their relationship with God?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
That was all I was going with. That is, I think that's what comes in. Oh, pastor don't really want what's best for me. Well, you didn't think your own dad wanted what was best for you. That's all I was getting at. And if I can, I started chewing on this, and I started thinking about Passover. The whole concept is, I do want you to remember where you came from and how bad it was. Okay? But here's the deal. But how I delivered you from it. I don't ever want you to think you delivered yourself. I want you to know that I chose you, that I humbled Pharaoh, that I took him down, that I parted the Red Sea, that I fed you in the desert. He always says that. The Lord always says that.
Well, we're reading today. So my takeaway for today, the biggest thing is like, why did he give them the Sabbath? So that you may know that I am God, that I am your Lord. So you constantly see that through the Old Testament. He gives them these things so they would know who he is.
Don't get it twisted.
And he points back always to Egypt. I'm the God who took you out of Egypt. Or like that's what he wants them to know. Those are the reasons those things were established, for you to remember him.
Good memories. Here's the icing on the cake, if I can. I brought you into a land flowing with milk and honey, two rare commodities, two sweet commodities, two luxurious commodities. In other words, when you serve the Lord, you get milk and honey. When you serve Pharaoh, you get bricks with no straw. There's a huge difference.
Before they crossed over, put those rocks as memorials there, so you remember you crossing over into that land. Remember where I took you from again.
So that everybody after that will remember. But even so my takeaway that I was going to share was yesterday. And they talk about the money for atonement. And it said that if you were rich, you can't give any more than this.
Yep. Bam. Can't buy it. Yep.
And if you were poor, you still had to give that amount. And it said, and one of the things that struck out to me was like, if the rich can't buy it,
bingo.
And the poor can't work for it.
Come on.
But and every soul costs the same. But at the end of the day, it's all him.
Yeah. You have to choose the memories. I say all that to say this. All right, this is where I'm going to tie it all together. Family affair. We're the body of Christ. You have to work through these issues. I think, and this is my personal opinion, I'm only speaking from experience. I think everything changed in my life, right, these last 3 years, when I chose to remember the good memories of my childhood. I got plenty of bad memories. I could write a book. But I'm talking when I chose to remember the good memories. The donut runs, right? The struggle, the fun part of the struggle, like how we gonna make it to the end of the month when my neighbors came through with food. I chose to remember all the good things. That I was riding in the car. I was riding in the car back from seeing Pastor Ron, and I had it on a Stevie B radio. Say, shout out Stevie B. I love me some Stevie B. And Debbie Deb came on. Look how wicked, here I come. I turned it up. My wife was like, "What's this song?" I was like, "Baby, you don't know this song?" And I immediately thought back to my mom and I going to the car wash pretty much every weekend, putting on Debbie Deb and cleaning out the car. Well, you were working. No, man, I was hanging out with my mom. It was cool. We was putting tire dressing on the tires, chroming up those rims. We didn't have much, but we were taking care of it. I could have looked at it totally negative. You have to frame it. And I think people come into the church, and if you frame it in a negative way, that's your memory of the Lord is in a negative way. Oh, the Lord just wants to use me. He wants me to give money, and the church wants to use me. That ain't nothing going to make you happy. But if you frame it in such a way like, I get to be part of a body again. I love being a part of the body of Christ and having a family, having a network of brothers and sisters in Christ. But you got to choose the good memories. There's plenty of bad ones, but if you start to choose the good memories, that's going to frame your reference, and I'm going to go even one step further, on life.
I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I would 100% agree with you, because if you get around people who have this mentality of like the world's against them, like it doesn't matter in every area of their life, they're literally just waiting for that piece to fall. And the first time something goes wrong, it's like the whole area of their life turns. It goes from they enjoyed their job, they liked their job, to now they hate it, they want a new one. they enjoyed this relationship, this friendship, and now they hate them. They want a new one. It's just like you don't work through it because you constantly are just waiting for something to go wrong. And so I would agree that if you don't deal with that, if you can't get to a place where you can work through the hardship, work through the disappointment, you literally go from one thing to another. And what I've seen is, you know, like in youth ministry, just in different things, is like you see these families who become very isolated and toxic.
Yep. Come on.
And it's like, okay, it's us against the world, it's us against the world, it's us against the world. And then you raise kids who then they feel like it's us against the world.
And they got to marry somebody. And then it's clash. Then it's a clash. But you still, okay, let's do this. So the church hurt, we're not negating it. We're not saying it's not real. You know, as far as people getting hurt in the church, we're not saying that. But what advice would you give somebody? I'm going to close thinking about the young man that I met and the advice I'm going to give him, or that I gave him. I'm going to give very similar advice. But if you were talking to somebody and they were just very negative, that pastor, I don't know if I could trust him, or they just wanted to use me, kind of like what Tim Ross was saying the other week. What advice would you give to somebody who is just feeling some sort of way about the church? What would you sit down as a pastor now, not as a brother in Christ, but as a pastor? How would you really counsel them? Go ahead.
I mean, if it's something that, you know, really egregious, I mean, growing up in church, and I know that like the pastor slept with the secretary. Well, we got to figure some stuff out. Like either he got to go, I got to go, you know? So I'm saying there's like this real stuff where something has to change, or me and my family, we have to leave.
Right.
So there's things like that. And there's some things that may be like gray area where you need to pray about, like, you know, God, is where you have me. Okay, if you have me here, it's like, okay, I need to go. God, I think too, you don't want to just sit there and be like, if it still bothers you, you don't want to sit there and just be bothered the whole time. If God, because all you become sour. You become like sort of bitter. God, why do you have me here? You're sort of upset about it. There's time to go find someone you can talk to. It will actually work through these things in the church, and let someone help guide you through that. Like, hey, I want to be here, but I have this issue with this, and I want to work through it. And be honest about it, and let's work through those things. Mm-hmm. Instead of sitting there and just like, you know, because we all might have something, and you don't want to sit there in that. Like, let's actually get in, let's bring some joy into actually being in church, instead of, you don't want to be the little kid, I have to go to this for the next 30 years. Yeah. You know, you want to actually be a place. So I will say, if it's something egregious, you know, you might need to leave. If it's some gray area, you know, pray about it. If God has you there, go talk to someone else to work through that.
I like that. That was good. What about you, Token? What you got for us? Give us some words of wisdom here.
Yeah, I think going back to expectations, you know, have realistic and healthy expectations of a church. You know, I think oftentimes, like, if we're not careful, we give our favorite restaurant, you know, more grace than we do our church.
Man, speak on that.
You know, and so you don't, even at your favorite restaurant, every once in a while they get a bad batch of orange chicken. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while you get
true.
You know, every once in a while the greeter might be rude to you.
Yeah. All
right. Or, you know, you started a friendship and it just didn't turn out right. People are people. People are broken. You know, we really love the fact that sometimes our sanctuary smells like weed.
We don't love it, but we deal with it. It's not intentional.
Hey, I'll tell you right now.
I'm staying out of this. I don't know what to say about that.
Not the smoke. It's not. We don't love it with smoke, but unsmoked.
We love that they're there.
Yeah, and it's broken people getting together and figuring out, like, how do we continue to move closer to God and have a relationship with Christ. And so if you have those expectations, the healthy expectations, that at some point, you know, I might bump heads with somebody around here. At some point, like, the pastor may say something that's going to offend me. Okay. Then that's okay. Like, but if you have these unhealthy expectations, it's just inevitable. And you're actually going to have those everywhere you go, because, like you said, everywhere you go, there you are.
Yeah. No, thanks, guys. That was really good. I want to close with something that I learned with my therapist. God bless her. She's a wonderful woman of God. Really helped me. I remember walking through some traumatic things from the church. It was actually some church hurt with some pastors. And she actually, now that I'm thinking about it, she actually did this with me. What he was talking about, the power of memories and choosing to look at the positive side of some relationships, finding the positive of positive memories. Long story short, she had me go through the list of pastors, and I was pointing out all these positives. Like, I was able to point out, it wasn't all negative. I was able to point out positives. And when I looked over at the list, and she told me to look down, I looked over at the list. I was so surprised at the positive things that I did learn, how they really how they really shaped my spiritual life in the present. I can't stress that enough. Let me say that again. I looked over at the list that I wrote down and how positively that list shaped my spiritual life in the present. I'm talking hardcore disciplines. And I'll never forget this. Now, was that worth it? And the answer is yes. And how did I not make it weird in Walmart, complicated in Costco, silly in Sam's? How did I not make it when I saw these people again? I chose to focus on those positive, not downplaying the negative things they did and how they hurt me, not making an excuse or letting them off the hook per se, right? But what I did was I chose to look at the positive and say, hey, thank you so much for teaching me this. Thank you so much for instilling me in this. Why? Because now I don't harbor unforgiveness or bitterness. Now I don't have judgments that I'm waiting to be judged on me. And if we could learn this principle, just write down some of the positives. You're not justifying or giving a free pass for the negatives. You're saying, I'm choosing to remember the positive, that it might shape my spiritual life now. And it doesn't even mean you might not need some separation, some distance from those people still. Absolutely, it might be a dangerous situation. Or it might be a time and a season of reconciliation. We don't know. But we need to be able to, as we mature as adults, we'll be able to discern and know all the more whether it's separation or reconciliation. And I just want you to choose the positive. Help to rewrite your brain. And you're going to see that this world, yes, at times it's harsh, but it's also a beautiful place where wonderful things happen. This has been